Benavidez versus Morrell Eve. That's what I'm gonna call it. It's not Christmas Eve, it's Morrell Eve, but we still got other topics, and I got two of my favorite people that are on the internet that are hosts. We even got a what do you call that again? I forgot. A ring announcer, right? Right. But it's Morrell versus Benavidez weekend, plus some other topics we're gonna get into. You know, I've been gone for the week, but I'm gonna catch up with y'all right now. My peoples, what's good? What's good, y'all?
What's going on? Listen, I love the intro.
Yeah, I had some guy, I went on Fiverr, I said I needed a quick intro, and he just did it for me. I'm trying to get Johnny's intro. Johnny has like a theatrical, but first, let me introduce my people first. My guy Johnny from the Hangout Spot. Shout out to Johnny.
What's poppin', baby? What's poppin'? Thanks for having me, man.
And you know, we had to add some beauty to the set. It's too many too many guys. You know, I know y'all want to see more, and we actually got a ring announcer. My girl Chevy Red, what's up?
What's going on, everybody?
That's good. It's good. But what were we just talking about? I just totally forgot right now.
It's fight week, baby.
Oh, fight week.
Fight week. David Morrell, David Benavidez, Eve.
David, the David battle. David Morrell, David Benavidez. We have people actually on the scene. You're actually on the scene at the Collision Shields fight, Chevy Red. But we're gonna get into this Morrell Benavidez card. I mean, it's a crazy card. You got Figueroa 4-2. You got Pitbull versus, I can't even say the guy's name, Fierro. Ramos Jr. versus Rosario. I mean, boxing in 2025, it's looking good, guys. But let's talk about the main event. Let's talk about the static between Benavidez and Morrell. And I found it kind of weird because Morrell had a lot more energy his last fight, right? I mean, not his last fight, I'm sorry. The original presser, right? And then when they did the final face-off, Benavidez kind of called him out and was like, you know, what's up with the energy? What do you guys think about the face-off between them two?
Listen, I will use the quote. Confidence is silent. At this point, it's done. All of that hoorah and all of that is done. It's time to fight. I feel like he's just locked in. I don't think that takes away from his, you know, whether or not he's nervous or scared or anything like that. Like, he's locked in. He's ready to go. And I think that Benavidez is the one with the nervous energy, with the continuance of all the crap talking and all of that. I think he's showing nervous energy.
Damn, Johnny, what you feel about that? You agree?
Yes and no. I do agree with Chevy. It's go time right now. You know what I'm saying? The talk has been done in prior press conferences. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter what's said, you know, during these last couple of days. It's not going to change what's going to happen in the ring. And we all know that both of these guys, there's no love lost between either one of them. There's hostility. They don't like each other, and I think that's going to make for an even better fight. I'm one of those guys, though, Chevy, that I do like the whole trash talk deal before the fights. Like, I'm not one of those guys that realistically like guys to hug it out and respect each other too much.
Johnny's an instigator. We know this.
No, I just think that friction just makes for a better buildup, you know, come fight night. Now, after the fight, absolutely, man, I want these guys to hug it out and show respect to each other. But before that, yeah, there could be a little bit of fireworks. So I was expecting a little bit more from Morrell, but at the end of the day, you know, it really doesn't matter. I think, they're ready to go. They're ready to go, man. This is much anticipated.
Yeah, with Morrell, I feel like he just kind of was just on some like, yo, we already sold the fight or whatever we're going to do with the fight. Let's just make it happen. But I will say this, Benavidez looked ripped. I don't know if you've seen there was like a picture they showed the side by side. He looked like this is probably the best shape he's been in a while, at least in my opinion, from what I saw, which makes me really nervous because he always has a dad body every time he shows up to a fight, right?
I'm going to say, for me, it looks a little smaller.
Who, Benavidez does?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think he's a little more cut. That's why he looks smaller. But usually he's kind of flabby. He kind of looks like either me or Johnny going in there. But, you know, I feel like
he's much better than either one of us, especially me. I'm not gonna lie. The battle of the bodies was definitely won by Morrell. Yeah. I mean, he came in there, he was looking ripped, he was looking cut up, so that's not a surprise. I mean, David is who he is,
Yeah.
physically. I mean, that's what he's gonna come
He
into.
looked better to me, though. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, outside of the 1980s Miami Vice hair on the chest and stuff like that, which I don't know what you guys are doing, I thought he looked pretty good, man. Like, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't. I think I'm one of the people that agree, or most people agree, or see the fight that Benavidez is gonna win. Clearly, that's what I feel right now. Oh, Chef does not agree. I think a lot of people are expecting knockout at this point. I mean, I don't know. Chef, you're nodding your head. Talk to me. What's up? What are you seeing here?
Listen,
What do you see? What do you see? What do you see?
I'm one of those unpopular opinions. I think Morrell is gonna have the upset of the year. And
Really?
I'm gonna go a step further to say I think the first couple rounds are gonna be reminiscent of Garcia Haney. I think somebody's gonna hit the canvas early, and it's gonna be a shocker.
When you're saying shocker, you're saying it's going to be Benavidez, because that would be the shock.
Allegedly.
Okay.
But I definitely think that the Morrell, I think that I think Benavidez is underestimating him a little bit because I think his power is going to be a lot more than Benavidez is expecting. I think his movement is going to be great. I think he has great footwork and everything,
Okay.
and I just think that I think he's going to edge it out.
I mean, it seemed like the last fight, both of them struggled to make their debuts at 175 pounds. Benavidez, fought somebody in the 3-year layoff. It looked like his power didn't translate. He landed a lot of shots and didn't hurt
Listen,
him.
all that, but it's like pillow. What they say? Pillow punches.
I guess, but I mean, do you think you think the second time around, his power may show better this time?
If you want me to answer that, you got to remember that was his first fight at 175. He has to fill into the weight and get comfortable in that weight class. And then I think a lot of people really don't give a lot of credit to the opponent. Vodzik is a former champion, at that weight division, a big guy from Ukraine and a tough guy. David Benavidez, I think a lot of people discredit that because he didn't stop him like he usually stops his opponents usually stopped his opponents at 168. But I didn't expect that. I got what I expected. I mean, the hand speed was blistering. I think by far it's the fastest hand speed I've seen at that division in quite a long time, since probably since Roy Jones, fought at that division. And he did what he needed to do to win. Now, Morrell, that fight was a lot closer, but again, that's his first fight at that division as well. He's fighting he was fighting Hot Rod, who's a tough guy. So you got to give a little bit of credit to the opponents. I think that this fight will be better for them because it's their second fight in the division. So you got to feel like body-wise, going into this fight, they're going to feel a lot more comfortable, and that's probably why you thought you saw, Benavidez, which you think that was the best shape that you've seen him in quite a long time. It might be because of that. He's more comfortable at this weight. He doesn't have to kill himself to get down to 168. And I agree. I think it's going to be a great fight. I don't see it the way Chevy sees it. I do see it going Morrell's way early on.
Okay.
David Benavidez is a slow starter, and Morrell by far has the advantage in footwork. He's gonna have to use his footwork. He's going to have to use his legs. He's going to have to slip punches and counter. But it's hard to do that when you got a guy that gets usually stronger and stronger as the fight progresses, and he throws a lot of punches in volume. And that, to me, is going to be the difference. I think that in the middle to late rounds, he'll wear down Morrell, both physically and mentally, and I think that's when he usually takes over, right? He starts throwing all those volume punches. He starts going to the body. He starts walking you down. And that's what I think will be the difference, which is why I'm taking Benavidez. But I like your assessment, though. I like that. I do, because I said skill-wise, you got to look at Morrell as the more skillful fighter.
Now, a lot of people they would argue that, guy like when he fought Boo Boo or when he fought Caleb Plant, the weight situation was an advantage for him, and that's how he's able to kind of get him out of there because they can't sustain running around as much. Do you feel like Morrell is strong enough to not have to, like if you watch when Boo Boo fought, he ran a lot. He did box, but he did a lot of things that he's not used to doing. Do you feel like Morrell's going to be able to is going to be strong enough to assert his game plan and not tire out and let Benavidez kind of take over the fight? And I think that's a key in that situation.
I think so, and I think, like I said, I think he's gonna show it early, and I think he's gonna make a statement with it, and we're gonna go from there.
How about you, Johnny?
You brought up a good point with the size advantage, right? Because we actually interviewed Boo Boo on the Boxing Voice one day when I was on the panel, and he said he was just marveled, like he didn't think that David Benavidez was as big as he was
Yeah.
until he saw him in the ring, right after the whole rehydration. I mean, he said he looked across and this dude was just huge.
Yeah.
Obviously, these guys are much more even in size. They came in, they weighed both the same, but David Benavidez is probably going to come into the fight tomorrow at 200 pounds.
That's crazy.
So I don't think Morrell will come in close to that. I'm guessing that maybe he rehydrates another 10 pounds. So I think David's going to be the bigger, heavier guy, but he is fighting a guy who naturally is his size as well, even though he's going to have a little bit of a weight advantage. You also got Morrell, who has a reach advantage.
Yeah.
So he's gonna have to use that, man. He's gonna have to fight a smart, technical fight.
Yeah.
But Benavidez is gonna want to make it a street fight, and that's the problem. I'm thinking that Morrell is gonna get caught up into that eventually with the love, with the hate between each other. And the fact that, between rounds, they're probably gonna call each other, curse words and all this other stuff. And I think that that's gonna probably draw Morrell into that. And if it does, to me, that's an advantage to David.
No, I mean, I'm with you guys. I've noticed a lot with a lot of these fighters, when they fight Benavidez, they do things out of their usual character, and they do more like, when I seen even Caleb Plant, they came with approaches that they couldn't sustain for 12 rounds, and it was because of the size of Benavidez. Is Morrell big enough and strong enough to avoid what's transpired with other fighters? And that's kind of where I'm at with it. Is he? Can he? You know what I mean? And because he isn't a natural 175, he just went up. But David was, he's a big guy. David probably walks around at 200 easily, definitely. So that's my biggest concern with the fight, man. But I'm expecting big things from both of them. I do think it does end in a knockout. I think if it goes decision, I think that's going to favor Morrell, in my opinion. What do you think? What do you feel about that?
I agree. I don't know if David wants to let it go to the scorecards, and then that's why I think that he's going to apply a lot of pressure from the midway point of that fight until potentially he can end it, man, because that's who he is. That's who he is. So we'll see, man. Like I said, it's interesting, and the reason why I think it's interesting is because you're asking questions about if Morrell will be able to sustain that pressure. The answer to that is we really don't know because of his lack of experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like only 11 fights. And if you look at the names on his resume, they don't match, to the names on David's resume. Like we know David is going to be able to get stronger late in fights. We know David's hand speed is going to be there in the 9th, 10th round. We haven't seen that from Morrell. So that's why I have the problem, picking Morrell, because there's just a lot of unknown there. But this is it, man. Like I said, a lot of these fighters, when the lights are brightest, this is when they show up, man. And if he can show up and he can fight a smart fight and not a street fight, I think he's got a shot.
I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to this fight. But there's 3 other main fights on there. Let's go through them before we get back to this Benavidez fight. You got Figueroa versus Fulton, the second fight. What do you guys feel about that fight?
I'll let you
Listen,
pick.
I'm seeing comeback. I love a comeback story.
I do too. This is one of those fights that a lot of people crapped on when it was first announced because they thought it should have happened 3 years ago. Right? I mean, I wanted to see that fight 3 years ago. After the first one, it was a banger. You know what I'm saying? It was a phone booth type fight. I mean, it was close. Scooter edged him, but a lot of people thought Brandon might have beat him. So the fact that it didn't happen right after that, I'm disappointed at. But once I heard about it, I was still happy about it because I think stylistically it's going to make it for a good fight. Now, the only difference that I have is this is now 3 years later, right? You got 2 guys that are in two totally different places in their career compared to where they were that night. I mean, Scooter was undefeated. He was a champion. Brandon Figueroa was undefeated. Now Figueroa moved up. His weight carried. He's a featherweight champion. Scooter, Not so sure where he's at. I mean, he did edge out Castro his last fight, but he got dropped. So a lot of people are kind of questioning, is he the same fighter after that Inoue fight? Because he took, he got cooked. He got cooked in Japan, and he hasn't really looked that great since, in my opinion. But I like this fight, man. I like this stylistically. And to Chevy, to your point, this would be a hell of a comeback story. If Stephen Fulton could go full circle and take out another champion in his prime. I mean, Figueroa is in his prime, man.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting. I like that fight.
I like it too. I'm excited for that one. I think it's gonna be great.
Then we have Pitbull coming off of a loss versus Fierro. I can't say his name. Fierro. What do you guys think about that one?
Fierro. Go ahead, Chef. Take a stab at this one, because this one got me kind of confused.
Listen,
I've
been watching the press conferences and seeing how everybody's reacting. I'm real big on energy and facial expressions and everything. And listen, even with Pitbull having that loss, like I'm team Pitbull. So, I think it's another one that's just gonna be a great fight. But, once a fighter has that loss and they have to come back, they have to redeem themselves. Like that's a whole different playing field, and I think Pitbull's gonna pull it off.
Yeah, I mean, and the reason why this one got me confused, Norb, is because you got Mexico against Mexico. So, you're gonna get a great fight.
Them chins gonna be chinning.
Absolutely, man. I mean, this one might be fight of the night. Who knows, right? This one may steal the show based on styles. I like Pitbull. He's a crowd pleaser, but he's a one-trick pony. But the good thing about that one trick is he does it very, very well.
Does it well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Hands high. He doesn't even jab his way in. All you're gonna get is power shots, hooks. Left, rights. He's gonna walk you down. We haven't seen him hurt. I don't know if Fierro has the power to hurt him, even though he has almost 80% knockout ratio. But this is gonna be interesting, man. This is gonna be interesting. Obviously, I'm gonna say Pitbull because of the name, but don't sleep on Fierro. There's something about Fierro that I like.
I found it weird that they had to be separated at the press conference. Pitbull's usually kind of like,
chill, right?
yeah, he's real nonchalant. He knows he's ugly. He don't care. He's just chilling, So I was just like, oh, damn.
Guy.
I'll tell you one thing, though. If there was ever a fighter that matched his nickname, like that nickname is perfect. Perfect.
Listen,
He's built like one and he fights like a pit bull. You know what I mean?
he looked like one too.
He looked like one, right?
Yo, Chef,
you throw a collar in that bad boy, you can walk him, bro.
Chef, you guys are wrong.
When he fought Rayo
Shout
at the
out to
press
Chevy.
conference, when he came with his Timbs laced up all the way to the top, I was like, oh my God.
Nah, bro,
I think there are people around him that are saying, listen, man, you're popular. If we can take that and add some aggressiveness maybe and some sauce into those press conferences, it could probably take your popularity to the next level. That's probably what it is, because you're right, man. 3 fights ago, this guy wasn't even talking.
Right.
Now he's getting people's faces or whatever. I like it. Like I told you guys, I like all that stuff. I like it. I feed into it, but I like that type of energy. But I don't know, man. Like I said, I was one of the very few people, and I'm not bragging about it because I'm usually wrong, but I was one of the very few people that picked Rayo to beat him, because there was something about Rayo's style. Like I always felt like if somebody can stick a jab, they're not going to allow themselves to, to get hurt or hit by all those winged shots, and they can stick to that game plan. They can stand up to him. They can beat him. And that's what I thought was going to happen. And man, I got a lot of shit from a lot of people. Like, what are you, crazy? Blah, blah, blah. Like, Rayo got knocked out by Colbert or whoever it was.
That wasn't Colbert.
Knocked him out. That wasn't Colbert. He knocked Colbert out. It was Garcia. What was it? The Spanish guy, right?
Yeah. I forgot his name.
Hector Luis. One of those guys that, it might be the guy that tanked for it or something like that. I forget. But anyhow, so everybody was questioning Rayo's chin. I was like, nah, man, I think Rayo's going to outbox this guy. And I was right, man. And like I said, I'm not taking credit for it because I'm usually wrong.
I like Pitbull because you're not going to get nothing different. It's going to be straightforward.
You know what you're going to get, right?
But do you guys don't think maybe he made some adjustments this time?
No.
Because of how last time ended up?
Maybe from a stylist perspective, right? Somebody
I
might,
think
but fighting wise, no.
I
Like, I
think,
mean,
and I don't say this literally. You can't teach an old
dog
dog
new
new
tricks.
tricks.
Yeah, I mean,
Um, that is who he is, and I think that's who he's going to be.
yeah.
And he's going to try to impose that style. Like again, if Fierro can box, mix it up a bit, stay out of that danger zone, not get hit with those looping right hands or looping left hands, he's got a shot, man. The blueprint is there. The problem is if he's durable enough to take that, Pitbull's.
Yeah, we know from when the bell rings, Pitbull's gonna be right in his chest. I mean, it's gonna be a pit fight, literally serious. Like that's what it's gonna be, man. So I
Shout out.
agree, and Pitbull got so many dope fights that he can do. Like I want to see it versus Sabrina Matias. There's a lot of good smoke
Hey,
for him too.
did you guys see that Matias just signed with Salida Promotions?
Yeah.
Really, I didn't even see that.
Yep. Shout out to Matias. I think they announced a fight, right? And it's going to be,
March.
yeah, it'll
Yeah,
be
it
in
is in
March.
March. I seen that.
Yeah.
That recently got announced the last couple of days, man. But man, boxing is starting to pick up, man. Exciting.
I know.
We
I
went
took
through a
off.
little bit of a dead phase after the Usyk Fury rematch.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's about to go crazy over the next like couple
Yeah.
months. That's why I kind of took a break this week. I was like, you know what, let me chill and just go to it. And then,
To work a lot.
yeah, I know. It was only like 3 days, but whatever.
Because listen, when you said that, you're like, oh, I have to step away. I'm like,
It was like 3-4 days. And for me, that's stepping away.
okay.
You know what I mean?
But it's a lot though in boxing because so much stuff happens every day. Like that's a
Yeah,
long break.
but 9 times out of 10,
Rumors,
it's either
drama.
like far fetched or just Shakur Stevenson just tweeting something or Tiafimo tweeting something. So sometimes it's like, who cares at this point? There is one more fight on here. It's Ramos Jr. versus Rosario. What you guys think?
Go ahead, Chevy.
No,
Ladies
I went first last time. You got this one.
All right, so I'll take a stab at this one. Jason Rosario coming off that draw to Jarrett Hurd. I was actually there for that fight. I worked that fight at Pro Box, so shout out to my family at Pro Box. And a lot of people thought Jason Rosario won that fight, including myself. He's a good story, man. Like he was out of boxing, for a couple years, and then right before that fight and after that fight, I spoke to Bob Santos, who's his trainer, and he's come back from a lot of his personal life. So it's hard to root against Jason Rosario, especially like I spoke to him after that fight, and he wasn't even that mad that it was a draw. He thought he won, but he wasn't even that mad because it was almost like, man, I'm just happy I made it back. You know what I mean? So, I took that out of that conversation. And, obviously experience-wise, he's been in there with the better names. Ramos he's young. I like Ramos. He did lose against Lubin, but, that was a close fight. A lot of people were saying that he might have won that fight and not Lubin. This is, Ramos's first fight at 160. He was normally in 154. The thing I don't like about Ramos is it's almost like he's one of those fighters, man. He's gifted and he has the ability to take it to a next gear during the fights, and sometimes he doesn't. Like you want him to take it to the next gear, and pick up the pace, and just like in the Lubin fight, and he just doesn't do that. Or I haven't seen him do it yet. Maybe Jason Rosario is the guy that can bring that out in him, because Jason Rosario is going to fight. He's going to fight from now on. And I get this from Bob Santos. He's going to fight from now on like this is his last chance, his last fight. And those are dangerous guys. But that being said, I'm gonna take Ramos in this one. I think he's just a better boxer. And I'm going to take him by decision in this fight.
Chev, what you got?
I agree with that. All of it. Like I agree with it. But like you said, it's kind of hard to root against his opponent, you know what I mean? The story, like I said, I love a comeback story. So I guess this would be one of those where I plead the fifth and just say I want to see a good fight.
Nah, for sure. My heart is for Rosario.
Yeah, if I was betting, I pick Ramos, but
I'd take Ramos if I had a bet, but my heart is definitely with Rosario, man. He's a good guy, really good
All
guy.
right, so let's just say the Benavidez fight goes down. what do they both have to look forward to? Because I did see my buddy John Iceman Scully. Shout out to John, right? That's one of my favorite people to interview. But we all know he's the co-trainer of Better Beef, and he's been kind of digging at Benavidez for fighting for the fake interim unified undisputed championship. And he said, this is what he said. He said, and I quote, "There's only one champion at light heavyweight, and that's Arthur Better Beef. Does any of these guys have a chance? Or do you think that's the possibility from either one of these fighters? Or what do you think about John's comments, actually?
You think about what?
About John's comments about...
Scully's comments, you mean?
Yeah, Scully's. I'm sorry, I called him John. I'm sorry. Yep.
What did he say? Refresh my memory.
He said that they are fighting for a fake unification belt, a Mickey Mouse belt. He said there's only one champion at light heavyweight, and that is Arthur Better Beef. And, you know, they have been taking aim at possibly fighting Benavidez. Do you think, what do you think about his comments? And where do you think the winner of this fight goes from there?
Well, as far as the comment about the fake Mickey Mouse belt and everything, I really don't know what to say about it, but I am kind of getting on board with the people when they make the comments or when they have the concern of like, why there's so many belts, right? I am kind of leaning more to like, yeah, why are there so many belts, you know? So I'm kind of like 50-50 with the comment, you know? But as far as, are you asking me if Benavidez has a chance?
Or what do you think the winner, because you got Morrell winning, right?
Yes.
And you have Benavidez. Do you think, because I know Benavidez, I know Better Beef's camp is eyeing the winner of this fight.
Yes. He can eye them and put the target on them, hit the bullseye, because I don't think either one of them will. Yeah, no.
You don't think Johnny, what do you think about that?
Have like listen, depending on how this fight goes, right? So say if Benavidez fights him, I still don't think it's gonna be. I don't even think it'll be a great fight. Like honestly, I think that Better Beef will just get in there and get out. Honestly,
On both of them, pretty much.
on both of them, I think so.
Johnny, what do you think?
Well, first off, I agree with John Scully with there's only one champion at light heavyweight. As far as all these belts, I'm going to keep it real. And I've said it on my show. I don't even know what an interim belt is. What's the meaning of it? Why? Why do we have it? Why do we need it? Like people have asked me on my show, like, what is an interim championship? And I said, I have no idea. Maybe maybe if the WBC, the real champion, dies, you know, this guy has an interim title, he just slide right in. I don't know. You know, we've spoken about that, Norb, right? An interim coach is different, but what's an interim title? So I think there's way too many belts.
But I find it fascinating how John is really going at it. Like he's really talking about it out there. He's making comment. You got to follow him on Twitter.
For sure.
It's pretty funny. And Rusty Gage, the beauty is, I don't know if you're talking about Johnny over here or you're talking about Chev, whichever beauty you're talking about, but that's what it is. But they're asking who's the beauty in the chat. Yeah, but
I mean, Johnny, you might have a little edge on me over there.
You got the nice liner
in the background, everything.
You got that Florida tan, you know, I'm talking about. But
Scully's right, man. I mean, listen, he's spitting facts, man. I mean, Better Beef is that guy, but he's got his own fight to deal with, man. That, you know, I don't necessarily think that's going to be a walk in the park. The first one, a lot of people thought Bivol won, including myself. So the second fight is going to be interesting. If either one of these guys or whoever wins this fight has a shot against either one of those guys, that's hard for me to pick, man. I don't see it. You know, like Chevy said, I don't see either one of these guys today beating either one of those guys today. But we're talking today.
Yeah.
Right? And let's say Benavidez does go out there and wash Morrell, or if Morrell comes out and knocks out Benavidez in 3 rounds, then maybe we might be thinking something different. Well, but I don't see it today.
Benavidez has come out and said that they asked him about the Canelo fight, right? He said he would go back down to 168, right? I got 2 issues with that. Canelo, A, doesn't like him, and B, Benavidez doesn't sell. I mean, this weekend, the fight's still not sold out. Those are facts. It's not me.
I heard something about that. Is that true? I didn't know if
Fact,
that was true or not.
we got our Four Corners out there. There's still tickets on sale.
Wow.
Everywhere. And then you got to think about it like this, right? If, and this is just me, if they weren't connecting Benavidez to Canelo, would we be talking as much about Benavidez as we are? And that's something that Canelo's like, he doesn't bring that to the table. If he wasn't talking about Canelo, would we be talking about Benavidez right now? Johnny, I'll let you answer that. I know you're a big Benavidez fan.
Man, that's a hard one, man, because I mean, if you look at Benavidez's style, like it's entertaining.
Yeah,
He's
I
not
love
a
Benavidez.
boring fighter. I mean, I don't know if we can ever say we've seen him in a boring fighter, but is he a big money draw? No. But man, that's hard for me. So what your question was, if it wasn't for him calling out Canelo,
Yeah,
nobody
but think
would know
about
who he is.
it. Think about it. He's a Mexican fighter, right? They're in Vegas. They might as well be in Mexico. It's right, everybody, you know what I'm saying? And it's not
Yeah.
sold out. I mean, Canelo kind of got a point. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Well, listen, man. I mean, there's nobody on Canelo's level when it comes to the face of boxing. I mean, he's the money draw. He's him, Tank. There's very few of those guys. You know, him, Tank. Ryan. Those guys can sell. David Benavidez is more of a fighter. I'm shocked, man. But in a way, I'm not shocked because this fight is more geared toward the hardcore fans.
Yeah.
Like the casual fans are not really drawn into this fight, which is crazy.
Yeah, especially with
But
his
that's just
style.
what boxing is, man. I can't answer that question, Norbs. I don't want to believe that because I do believe that his style is entertaining where
Absolutely.
sooner or later, people are going to be like, yo, that dude, Benavidez, that monster guy, yo, you got to watch him, bro. Because he's blasting people out, but boxing is weird like that, man. It's just weird.
He's not a boring fighter. He brings it all the time. But I feel like, everybody wants to see the fight, the Benavidez Canelo, right? But you don't want to see it? Chev, you have to answer this one. What?
I got to hear this.
Come
Why?
on, Chev.
Because for me, I feel like Canelo doesn't have anything else to prove. What is going in there and fighting Benavidez do, right? I feel like I would rather see the Crawford and Canelo fight, of course.
Really?
But Benavidez and Canelo, I just listen. For me, also, like I know there's a big difference with like weight, right? So the 3-pound weight difference versus a 3-inch difference or whatever, right? But when Canelo fought Munguia looks so much bigger than Canelo, right? And then you don't fight Benavidez, it's gonna look even bigger. I'm just like, come on, this isn't even, for me, it doesn't make sense. I don't think Canelo has anything to prove when it comes to that. And to your question about, if it wasn't for Canelo, what would we be talking about Benavidez? I'm kind of with Johnny on that, but I'm leaning towards more the side of no. Right? Just like probably half of the people in boxing who are now calling out Canelo, now calling out Crawford and everything, they're using the name.
Yeah.
So if they couldn't use it, what would we be talking about? They wouldn't be as high. They'd be here somewhere. They'd still be there because they're great fighters and everything, but putting the name and calling out, it makes it, a little better. But I don't need to see that fight.
See, my thing with what we stated, I think Canelo actually has to fight him. And it's because of his heritage, where he's from. Being a Mexican, right? You got, and then ducking another, listen, if he doesn't fight him, people are going to call it a duck, regardless of what they're going to say.
Well, they're calling it a duck right already.
Yeah, already. And I don't know if Canelo can retire and that not continue to be brought up, especially him trying to be the greatest in Mexico or whatnot, not fighting Benavidez, especially Benavidez continues to be successful. So, I think he does got to do the fight, but I feel like Benavidez could X himself out of the fight if he does beat Morrell and then fights Benavidez and loses. Then I think that goes out the window. That's how I feel. But, I could be wrong.
Benavidez say earlier today he wasn't going to go back to 168, that
Oh,
he's
no.
going to go up?
No, he said he'll go to 168 for Canelo. That's what he said. He said he really wants that fight.
Only for Canelo.
Only for Canelo.
Okay, for Canelo, the name that...
Yeah.
There's two things that I have an issue with Canelo with this thing, man. Canelo has never been a guy to duck smoke, right?
Yeah.
And he's always been that guy where if people want him to fight somebody, he's going to fight him, right? People wanted him to fight Triple G for a long time. Finally, he got in the ring with them. So why isn't he that? Why is he not that down to fight Benavidez when he's always been that guy that has fought anybody that anybody has wanted him to fight? That's number one.
Yeah.
Can I chime in on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, real quick, we're going to that, right? Why isn't he acting like he would normally, right? Just like I feel that he didn't fight Munguia like he normally would, right? He's older now, right? So when he fought Munguia, I felt like he fought like an older Canelo, more smart, more strategic, right? So I feel like maybe he's there at that point now. Like, I don't need to do all of that anymore. I'm Canelo Alvarez. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's like that. Like, just a difference in how he's seizing things, you know, how he's thinking about it.
Oh, it's absolutely like that. I don't like it, but yeah, you're right. It is like that. Another thing too is before this whole Benavidez, I remember Canelo saying he didn't want to fight fellow Mexican fighters anymore.
He did say
Remember that whole thing? And then he goes and he fights Munguia, which makes absolutely no sense.
But then he signed him, so I guess.
Right. Well, yeah, now he's actually in his camp. You know, I think they announced that this week. But, you know, I agree with Norbs, man. I think that at this point he has to fight him or he's going to hear about it for the rest of his life.
Yeah,
like, yeah, you were great, but you didn't fight the Mexican monster.
I would stuff my ears with one of them stacks and be on my way.
No, listen, I love Canelo, you know what I mean? But unless Benavidez in the next couple fights gets destroyed, you know what I mean? If Morrell beats him, that's out of the window, right? Canelo probably go out and fight Morrell, right? I mean, they've even said that he might go fight Benavidez, the winner of the Benavidez Revolt. But for some odd reason, something about Benavidez does not sit right with him. And, you know,
he doesn't like David. He said it on some interview where he said that, you know, David's been rude and, you know, there's been
so disrespectful
and cursing. But my thing is, like, what do you want him to do? Like, call you Mr. Alvarez? Can I please have a fight that I deserve because I'm actually the #1 contender for your title? But I marvel in your presence, but please, if you can find it in your heart, like, that's not boxing.
Yeah, it's not.
There's plenty of other fighters that have called out fighters through the media.
You know how Canelo looks at it, though, Johnny? Not to cut you off.
Canelo's like a diva. Like, come on, man up. Like,
but you got to think about it like this. At this point, everyone knows it's a privilege to fight Canelo. Because who other than Canelo can get you to that bag? Amir Khan said he took the fight knowing Canelo was probably going to beat him, knowing that Canelo was bigger. But he did the math, and he said, if I fight Canelo this one time, right, and to make that money, I'd have to fight another person. I'd have to fight 6 fights to make what I'm going to fight for Canelo once. So I think Canelo looks at it like it's a privilege, and he has such a disdain for Benavidez that he's like, if I give him this and I can't stand him, I make this guy a shitload of money. And I think that, I mean, you're right.
I don't think it's duck. I think it's just he's being petty pretty much. Like, it's petty. Like,
it's still going to be looked at as a duck. I'm with you, Johnny. Like, it's...
I don't see it as a duck.
People are going to call it a
so
duck.
now he gets in there and whoops the brakes off of Benavidez. Then what?
No, and we could all, you know, the Canelo fans could say, like you, we told you so, but we got to see it.
You know what? But Canelo's in the worst. He's like in the worst space as well because there's so many people that want to see him lose. Like, even with the Crawford fight, right? I've watched reporters say if Crawford wins, this is the biggest win in his career, right? Canelo wins, you know, it's whatever. He's on to the next. It's just like you can't have it that way. It doesn't work that way.
Exactly.
Like, you can't say one and not the other. It's insane.
There's pluses and minuses for being the face of boxing, you know, and that's what it is. But see, at the end of the day, my thing is I'm not a guy that likes fighters that pick and choose. You're a champion. You're a unified champion. Your job is to defend the titles against the top contenders. And David Benavidez realistically should be asking. He was the #1 contender.
He was.
So, you know, it is what it is. I don't think that fight ever happens. I'm already giving up hope. That's like trying to date a girl that keeps telling you no. You know what? Sooner or later, it's time to move on to somebody else, man. You can't keep chasing her forever. So I feel like that here. So I've given up hope. But I hope I'm surprised, man. You never know when Turkey Al-Sheikh gets involved in something. Maybe something can happen.
Johnny,
I don't
I
know.
don't even want to read this comment in the chat, bro, because this is gonna
Why
make you
can't we
blush.
see the comments? I can't see the
Oh,
comments.
these are, I don't know why, but they said, "Who's the hottie? What's your name, dude?" He was talking to you, Johnny. I'm not gonna lie.
He said, dude,
That's crazy, Johnny.
Nah,
That's what
bro.
I'm talking about, bro.
Nah, bro.
He's
Whoa.
bringing sexy back. That's what I'm talking about. Damn.
We got a record scratch that one.
Jesus. So we're looking at the more likelihood of Benavidez or Morrell fighting the winner of Bivol. Better
That
Beef
would
wins.
be likely absolutely more likely to happen than Canelo and Benavidez, in my opinion.
It sucks.
Although I hope I'm wrong.
You know what sucks though? Like about that scenario for Benavidez, we want Benavidez to be big because I think he's so talented. But Arthur Beterbiev and Bivol is people are just kind of walking past it like it's not going to happen in like 2-3 weeks. I don't understand how such a great fight is just being overlooked.
That's another one. Only the hardcores appreciate that. Like I wanted to see that fight 5 minutes after the first one.
Yeah.
yes.
Like after the first one, like 15 minutes later, I'm like, yo, when is that next one? When is that next one? And nobody's talking about it. It's crazy.
Absolutely nuts, man. And
Or the card. Or the card.
Shakur's on the card.
Main events. It's absolutely insane, man. But boxing fans are funny, man. They're funny.
Like 2.5, maybe 3 weeks away from that, something like that. I think it's like February 20th or something.
22nd.
February's tomorrow, so we're 3 weeks away.
3 weeks.
And nobody. And I had people tell me like, "Is that fight still on?" I'm like, "Are you serious?" Like, yes. Like I talk to John all the time. He's telling me how Beterbiev was in camp, and he's telling me like Beterbiev is focused, dude. Like he's literally. He said after the fight, he went right to the gym. He didn't even take a break. They even had the trash. So John actually believes that Bivol's still not recovered from that fight because if you've seen at the press conference, he still had like green under his eye. He feels like physically Bivol is still not healthy from the last fight. So that's kind of crazy to me. So I feel like there's so many things that can possibly with that fight that are going on that nobody's talking about. And I really look forward to that fight.
They dropped the promo today. It was pretty nice. The promo was pretty dope.
Yo, it looks like a
They do
movie.
dope shit over there. Like they put together movie trailers for fights. Like they got concerts. They got concerts in the middle of.
Yeah, I could live without the concert, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Me too, man. I'm like,
So
yo,
what do you guys have for that fight?
Who do I got?
What do you have?
I go with my loyalty. You know, Arthur's my uncle, so I gotta stick with Mr. Beterbiev, man. That's my guy. John Scully's my guy. If anybody knows me, John is my guy. So, and I gotta go with what he says. He's like, look, Arthur, this is what he said. We're not the ones that gotta make the adjustments, and if Bivol's gotta make the adjustments that he needs to make to win this fight, he's gonna go to sleep. And basically saying he's got to be more offensive. He's like, he knows he can't stand toe to toe with Beterbiev. And he believes that if he does make that adjustment, that it's going to be an early fight. Shout out to Wavy K. She shouts out Chev. Shout out Wavy.
Hey, Wavy Boo. Listen, so with that, I'm team Beterbiev all the way, right? I thought he won the first fight, but I would say that he does need to make some adjustments because I feel like if Bivol decides, all right, I'm going to make the adjustment, I'm going to be ready to go toe to toe with him, then how does Beterbiev move? You know what I mean? Because if Bivol brings the power, I'm ready to go toe to toe, and the movement, that's tough. I feel like Beterbiev was actually struggling when Bivol was moving. You know, even though them punches. Listen, I was sitting there and I'm like, is my TV in slow mo? Beterbiev's punches are just like, bah, bah. Like they were slow, but then you could tell they were so powerful. You know. But I feel like he might need to make some adjustments with his movement.
You can tell. Listen, Dimitri Bivol doesn't really move like that when he fights. He fights behind a jab. He kind of dictates the fight. But against Beterbiev, he showed a lot of respect. A lot. So, listen, and you know, speaking to John, he even said it, like, you could tell that Bivol felt the power. That he got on the bike. He said it. He's like, he was on the bike.
Yeah.
He knew what it was. So, is Bivol going to do the necessary things to win that fight? And again, there's going to be 3 different sets of eyes, 3 different judges Who knows? They may think that's what's going to win the fight. So, that's what I even explained to John. So, John, what if the fighters see it this time it's the way Bivol fought the fight? But is Bivol willing to take that risk and fight the same way after a loss? I don't think he can.
It's going to be tough. I mean, in order to beat Benavidez, you got to fight the perfect fight. And he was boxing really well.
Yeah.
Bivol was boxing his ears off in the beginning part of that fight, but to Chevy's point, those punches were wearing him down. Like he wore down, both mentally and I think physically towards the ending part of that fight. And that's what guys like Benavidez will do. They're gonna apply that mental pressure, that physical pressure. They're gonna keep coming after you. I don't think at any point Benavidez felt Bivol's power at all. He wasn't intimidated by it. He kept going forward the entire fight.
Yeah, like it didn't exist.
Right, exactly. And that being said, Bivol again moved, jabbed, threw some two, 3 punch combinations. Like he was landing a lot of punches. Yes, he was racking up the points. He was fighting a perfect fight until he wore out.
Yeah.
And that's my thing. Like I don't know if he can fight another perfect fight.
And that's something that we were talking about before, doing things that are out of your characteristics. When people fight Benavidez, they do a lot of running. And they're not accustomed to that. And Bivol is not accustomed to fighting on his back foot like that. So is he going to make the necessary steps? And I think that's where John and their camp is looking at it like, look, we're gonna go forward. There's things that we gotta work on, but he's already showed in that first fight that he can't handle Benavidez's power. I mean, and I think this fight can be a great short fight. Like this can be something like Hagler Hearns. Like, you know what I mean? If he decides to stand his ground, this could be one of the fights of the year.
Yeah, I agree. I think Benavidez will probably start faster. He didn't start faster last time. And he's not really a fast starter, but this time I think he does. And he breaks down Bivol quicker, like faster. I don't think this one goes to the cards. I think Benavidez stops him.
Wow. I mean, to stop Bivol says something, man, because that's a tough cat. That is a tough cat, man. And I mean, I don't understand how people are not talking about this fight, man.
We are.
We are. Listen, we are. I'm ready.
It's a great
and
fight, man.
And we will continue to talk about it on my show. I'm going to bring that up next week, probably on one of my shows. So make sure, if y'all want to pop in or whatever.
You know I'm crashing.
But yeah, man, it's the whole card. The whole card we're going to break down for the next.
Yeah, because the whole card is fire. Like it's the whole thing is just great.
All right, guys. Let's move forward. There's this one interview that I just saw, and it baffled me. It stifled me, right? And I'm going to play it for you guys to hear it real quick.
Having spoken to Tank, he really doesn't want to do anything that's less than top tier. So I think he's going to insist on a fight like Shakur, something of that magnitude. Maybe it's Shakur, maybe it's Ryan Garcia rematch, maybe it's something like that. But I don't think we'll see him in anything short of those kinds of fights going forward.
Well, Steven, really appreciate
Okay, first and foremost, did you hear it? What he said?
I heard it.
Who's he talking about?
He's talking about Tank, and
That's Steven Espinoza. Yeah, that's Steven Espinoza.
Steven Espinoza doesn't
former head of Showtime Boxing,
and basically says that Tank wants big fights, right? Let me put the quote fingers up there. Right? He wants big time fights, like a Shakur Stevenson, but maybe not Shakur Stevenson, maybe a Ryan Garcia fight. Now I'm sitting here and I'm like, dude, why like a Shakur Stevenson fight and why not Shakur Stevenson? It makes I'm tired of the excuses for Tank Davis. That's what I got out of the situation. Why not just say we want to make the big fight versus Shakur, or just say, yo, he's too dangerous? What did you take out of that? Because I was baffled at what he was saying.
Man, listen, I saw that on IG, and it was one of those where I just kept scrolling up. Like I was like, what is he saying? Tank wants the big fights like Shakur, and I'm like, and I just swiped right up.
What does that mean? Like Shakur, he's there. He's not retired.
Yeah, exactly. Like, first of all, you should have been fighting the big fights already. Like, that's my biggest beef with Tank, man. I like Tank, I do, but he's got to do better. he's got to do better than fighting guys at lower weight classes, man. I'm sorry, man. There's guys in his own weight class, Shakur Stevenson, which people want to see him fight. A lot of people want to see him fight Teofimo Lopez. You know, he's moved up to 140. I interviewed Ernesto Tito Mercado this week.
Yeah.
One kid, 17-0, 16 knockouts, 23 years old from California. And even he said he would blast Tank out. This is a young kid.
Confident, I'll tell you that.
Oh, man, that interview was fantastic. If y'all haven't seen it, make sure y'all check it out at the Hangout spot, man. It was actually this Tuesday. He's entertaining. He called out Shakur. He called out everybody.
I actually got him on tomorrow morning at 11. But
Who?
Him, Mercado, tomorrow.
You got Mercado?
Yeah.
Mercado's my guy, man. Mercado's my guy.
Chev, what I don't know what Espinoza was talking about. He looked so awkward because he was like, yeah, like he wants the big fights like Shakur. And I'm sitting here like, dude, like he's there. Like he's
That is the fight.
What are you waiting for?
That is the fight. I didn't see the interview, but just from listening to it, like you said, like I don't know what if now I am the queen of unpopular opinions. I am the queen of perspective, right? I like to see things from different angles, everything. What if something is in the works and he can't really make that forward statement?
See, I would believe that would be a situation if it sounded, he looked confused because when he said like a Shakur Stevenson, he didn't want to acknowledge that Shakur was a big fight, kind of. And like if there was somebody, like it almost felt like I don't want to get a call from Gervonta.
You about to go home and get in trouble. Right?
Yeah, and be upset. That's the money guy here. I don't want to piss him off. It seems like he's very adamant about not fighting Shakur. So it's to me, it's just like, I don't understand it. How can you want the big, like, listen, Ryan's a big popularity money fight, okay? But no, I don't want to see that fight again. I'd rather see him fight Shakur, Teofimo. Listen, I take a Keyshawn Davis, and I don't think Keyshawn's ready for him right now. But, I mean, somebody. I'd take Devin Haney at this point. But to me, it looks so awkward that whether it's Ellerby, whether it's Espinoza, it's always an excuse. And I'm just like, what is the excuse if he wants the big fights that we're not getting Shakur? That's what I got. I was just confused.
That's why I scroll up, when I see these things, because there is none. Espinoza, though, like he's been known to lie on occasion. Like I'm not really big on what he says. I remember one time, this was probably like 6 months ago or
He
whatever.
did say they sent the contract over to
Yeah, they sent over a contract to Shakur. Shakur just called him a liar and a weasel and all this other stuff.
I believe him after that, seeing that clip.
Yeah, I mean, but like I said, you don't know what to believe. But at the end of the day, Tank holds the cards in his hands. You know what I mean? If he wants to make a fight with Shakur, all he has to do is tell his people, "I want Shakur next." Make it happen. He's at that level in his career where he can make a fight happen.
Yeah.
The fact that when people bring up Shakur's name, media, whatever, he gets annoyed by it.
Yeah.
Tells me again, like David and Canelo, he wants no part of Shakur, and I don't know why. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure why. I mean, maybe it's because he feels like Shakur is going to run around the ring and he's not going to be able to hit him and he's going to make him look bad. I don't know. But they're the two best lightweights at 135. Yeah. We need to see that fight happen now. Tank is 30 years old.
No, and it bugs me out, though. I mean, Johnny, not to cut you off, but the fact that he had all of these guys at 135 in his division at one time and only fought Ryan, and nobody is talking about it. If this was Canelo, dude, it'd be a freaking riot downtown. Media would be going crazy. I don't understand. And again, no disrespect to Lamont Roach, to Martin, to Rolly Romero, but all of those guys were available at the time. And to come out and say you want the big fight, why don't you just say he wants the big money? Mm-hmm. That's why he'll take Orion. He doesn't want to take the
big
risk.
Money, not as big a risk.
Yeah.
And that's
there you go.
They're not going to admit that. They want minimal risk, maximum pay. And, that's that. Welcome to the boxing in today's era.
I'm going to say welcome to the new boxing, because it seems like that with everybody.
The annoying boxing.
No, not everybody, because Teofimo wants to smoke. Listen, I'm not a big fan of Edgar Berlanga. He made a list.
Let me say that name.
Who, Teofimo? Oh, no, I know you don't like Teofimo, but we got to, listen, let's take his idiocy out of it. The guy wants to smoke with everybody. And even
He
listen, I'm
lost
not.
to Jermaine Ortiz. That's what I'm gonna say.
He didn't lose to Jermaine Ortiz. Jermaine Ortiz put on his tap shoes and was going around the ring for about 36 minutes. I'm just like, but listen, listen, not everybody. Berlanga's calling everybody out. Listen, he just made this list. He said he wants Munguia, Charlo, Plant. Who else he said? Who
As a
said?
certified member of the Boricua team, I'm trading Edgar Berlanga for anybody else.
Oh my God. He did forget a couple names that I want to see him against Berlanga, right? And one of those names was McCumbee. I would like to see him fight McCumbee in his next fight.
Yeah,
That would be great.
that would be a great fight for him. But he's looking for names, man. He's looking for names and bags, man.
No, listen, I'm not the biggest Berlanga fan. I get calls from his camp all the time. I get killed all the time. You're Puerto Rican. You're supposed to support. I can't lie to you guys. I don't think he beats Plant. I don't think he beats Munguia. I don't think he beats Charlo. You know what I mean? I would like to see him against all of them because I will say this. The kid is very smart. The kid is talented.
He's a great kid, man.
No, I just don't believe he's an elite.
I know him personally. He's a great guy.
No, he seems like it is. He is.
Yeah, no, he's a great guy. I'm a big supporter of him. Like I say, he gives me love, and I'm really, really tight with his trainer, Mark Ferre. He wants to,
I love the list. I love the
he's
list.
still young. Let's see what happens. A lot of people saw him getting blasted out by Canelo. He went 12.
Yeah. I just hated the celebration.
He went 12 against a Canelo that wanted to knock his head off.
True.
Did not show him any mercy whatsoever.
True.
He took Canelo's best shot, got up, and kept fighting with that left hook. So I mean, there's a lot that he could put. We got to see his next fight because normally a fighter like him who fights a guy like Canelo and goes 12. There's a lot of learning that you took out of that fight.
Yeah.
So that's why, and I've told him this personally. That's why I want to see his next fight because I think that you will see a much better version of him based on that experience alone.
Yeah.
So we'll see, man. I mean, it's going to be in March, I believe.
Johnny, I definitely got to agree with you on that aspect because at the end of the day, I feel like he was very reluctant and gained confidence in the fight. And I think that confidence can carry over for him in his next fight of him actually saying, hey, I can bang with the big boys. Maybe he couldn't, because remember, at one point, he only did 17 rounds. He had 17 knockouts straight in the first round, right? So he still doesn't have a lot of ring experience.
But it'll work, right?
Yeah, to go 12 rounds with Canelo is very impressive, and that could overflow to his next fight. Now, if you're his trainer, if you're his camp, out of the people that he suggested, who would you go with? Because Caleb Plant is not no one. It's not no one to overlook.
Listen,
Charlo.
I honestly, I think. Let me say this first. Let me go back to what I said earlier about trading him. I'm saying that based on his antics after the Canelo fight. Okay, it was embarrassing.
Oh,
That's
the
what I'm talking
celebration?
about after that. I like the kid too as a fighter. I think he's a great fighter, and I actually think that he would have a chance against Caleb Plant.
Okay.
I think he would.
If he hits any one of those guys you just mentioned, because Berlanga, he can swat. He can drop any of those guys.
Yeah.
Now, can he outbox those guys? Right? Because Plant, people are gonna say he's the better boxer. But I tell you one thing: if he hits Plant, we saw Plant go down by Canelo. We've seen Plant get hurt.
Yeah.
McCumbee put Plant down.
Yep.
If he gets hit by a Berlanga right hook, I don't know if he gets up. That's just my opinion.
Listen, my buddy Eric Moon fought Berlanga, and he said when he got in the ring, he didn't realize how big Berlanga was. He said he hit him, and he felt like his whole body just absorbed his punch, and it was just like he was like, "Dude, what the hell?" And Berlanga's a big guy.
He's physically big and strong.
He's very big and strong, but and again, maybe he went up too fast. He didn't have a lot of ring experience in regards to professional rounds, He just didn't. 17 straight knockouts or whatever it was.
I think that hurt him more than it helped him.
That's what I'm saying. And I feel like when he started fighting better opposition, right, it kind of hurt him. It kind of showed some of his flaws because he never went deep in the waters. But maybe that Canelo is the springboard to making him into that fighter. But that's why at this point, they have to be very selective as to who they choose. Caleb Plant is he's been hurt by guys, but the one thing we do know about Caleb Plant, he's very resilient, and he showed us a very high IQ against somebody like McCombie, where he was getting hit, and
Yeah,
said, "I'm
absolutely.
gonna take this away from him," and showed something that he showed a level or a gear that we haven't seen from Plant, that we haven't seen also from Berlanga. What do you think about the opponent? Should it be a Gabe Rosado? Should it be somebody of that nature for him?
I was hoping that it wouldn't be. I wanted to see one of those big names next. Like after you fight a guy like Canelo, in my opinion,
You can't go
don't
down.
take
Like
a
you
step
can't.
back. Like you use
Yeah.
that as a stepping stone to like now get with these other guys who aren't Canelo but are big names. But
But
I think
Johnny,
it's
he's
going
still
to
a
be
baby. He's still a baby. How many? If you was to calculate all his rounds right now, how many rounds do you think he got compared to a Jermell Charlo, a Caleb Plant, a Jaime Munguia? I mean, let's be real.
The problem is you can't. Yeah, he should have gotten more rounds when he was younger, but he's not young anymore. He's 27 years old.
True, true.
So you can't like now take that fight and bring him back to those days. Like
Yeah.
you can't.
Yeah.
You know, he's got his man strength. He's in his physical prime. He just fought, you know, what people are calling the best, the face of boxing.
Yeah.
You know, one of the best fighters in the world, pound for pound. He went 12 rounds. Now let's continue to ante it up.
Yeah.
You know, none of those guys that you mentioned would be favored against Canelo, right?
None of them, no.
We've seen Plant get beat by Canelo. Charlo, we've seen what happened there. Who else? Munguia, we saw what happened there.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to start fighting those guys because they're top level guys. You can't just go down to I don't know, who'd you say before? I mean, I like Gabe Rosado, so I don't want to be that guy.
That was the lowest I went. But I said McCombie. I just don't see him beating a
I like
Charlo,
Gabe,
man.
man. I don't want to call Gabe. Gabe wants that fight too. He's told me he wants that fight in Puerto Rico.
Well, listen, when I was covering the Alexis Rocha fight, Gabe was like, I want all the smoke.
He wants that Berlanga fight. And for a second, I was thinking, yo, I think that's gonna be the fight. It's gonna be Berlanga against Edgar, but I don't think that happens.
I think his manager's Kevin Connolly, right? I think they got to protect the bag. He's the bag, right? In a sense, at 168 after Canelo, right? Let's just say he is. I think you can't put him in there with a Jermell Charlo right now. I think you have to give him one victory and then go.
Absolutely. Listen,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, what we say?
What we gonna
Listen, I got a question because I'm feeling like a little contradiction here, right?
Okay, I'm
you just
listening.
said, oh, you gotta protect the bag, right? Wait, hear me out. You gotta be selective with the fight. Okay, so what's the difference between Canelo being selective or Tank being selective?
Canelo's there. That's why.
I
He's
just
seen
say
it
it.
all.
I mean, but
he said it,
listen,
not me.
No. Look, I'll answer that for you.
give grace all around the board.
Listen.
He's talking from a manager's perspective.
Yeah, I'm looking at it from.
That's how the manager should think. That's not how the fighter should think.
And I think Edgar Berlanga has the best management in boxing. I'm Kevin Connolly.
He's that guy.
Yeah, he has the best. Listen, you got to look at your investment realistically, right? When they jumped the line and got Canelo, that was a brilliant move. Listen, you're never going to get an opportunity like this again. And he lasted 12 rounds. They celebrated, people critiqued him, whatever, but it made him into a villain that other people wanted that want to fight now. Like everybody at 168 wants to fight him, even though they're probably better rated or whatnot. But he's the guy they're looking at. So you got to kind of look at it from their perspective. Like, all right, look, is he ready for a Charlo? We knew he wasn't going to beat Canelo, right? But if we want to extend this bag, we have to get him prepared to beat these other fighters. They're not Canelo's level, but they are good fighters at 168. Canelo's done this. He's faced Triple G, Floyd Mayweather, Miguel Cotto. It's a complete, I'm talking about experience. This kid does not have that type of experience that Canelo has. That's why Canelo, at this point in his career, who's done it all, can be selective. Because he's getting $40 million to fight Munguia, right? Edgar's not. So I feel like you have to get him a big victory right now. You got to get him, in my opinion, more people believing in him, especially the Puerto Rican community. They're very big on their fighters. They're going to show up, and they want to see him get a big win.
That's why his next fight will be in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And I
agree with you on this one, though, Johnny. I don't know.
Shit.
I'm not too leaning much on your side. I'm more in agreement with Johnny on this one. He needs to take one of those big fights. I don't think just because the fighter has a loss, they need to take that step back, get a tune-up fight or anything like that. Like I feel like they need to take that big fight and re-show. Like, yeah, Canelo's a different level, so that's okay that you took that L. Like, but don't don't go all the way back down. Like, stay at that level because those guys are that level. Canelo's just a level above. But hey, I
Canelo's
don't
who
think that
he
he needs
is.
to take a breeze fight, a easy fight,
I
just
don't
to
know.
be like, he's got his confidence. But no, put his ass in there with
I feel like if he loses,
McCombie.
if he
Put him in there.
loses clearly to like a Caleb Plant or to a Charlo, I think it could be the end of Edgar. To be honest with you, I'm just being honest. There wasn't a lot of people. Johnny, I know that's your man. I know that's your man, Johnny. But there's not a lot of believers in him like that.
Yeah, I get that. I totally get that. I mean, there was a lot of people that thought that he was going to get knocked out in 2 rounds
I did.
against Canelo, right? But let it play out, man. Like I said, I think he learned a lot from this fight,
Absolutely.
and
I want Edgar to be great. I want Edgar to be good. I don't want people to think I don't dislike him personally, any of that. I want him to be great, but I feel like I've managed artists and stuff like that, and sometimes you have to prepare them for what's in front of them. And I'm just like, bro, there's a difference when you're the hunter and you're the hunted, and he's become the hunted. You know what I'm saying? And that's a different ball game right now, and that's gonna affect everything. And if you're a great businessman, like his management has shown to have been, you gotta extend that bag. You gotta extend it. I mean, they did say. I mean, rumor has it. Jose Benavidez Sr. came out and said that they ducked Benavidez for a fight. I didn't say it, but his father said it. So they are definitely, weeding through the stuff. But who knows, man? But who do you want to see him fight next? We'll end it at that. Who do you want to see him fight?
me or Chevy.
Whatever.
In his next fight,
Yeah.
if it were me,
Yeah.
I would put him in there with McCombie.
Dangerous. Chev.
If it were me.
That's what I was gonna say. I would like to see the McCombie fight.
McCombie got the porn mustache. It's kind of scary, man. I don't know if I would go after McCombie, but
And listen, he's tough as shit
He's a
too.
dog.
He's tough.
Yeah, no,
But
I
I definitely think that it would be a good matchup. I would like to see that fight. I don't want him to go down and fight whoever you're talking about, Norms.
Yeah, John. See, I gotta get a hair on like Johnny. If I don't have a hair, if I had a hair on like Johnny, I'd be in there with you.
One name not to sleep on though that he's mentioned, and I think they want to get that scrap going is William Skull, the IBF champion.
You know what's so crazy? When I first heard William Skull, I was like, "Who is he?" I didn't even know he was Spanish. How about that one?
He's a Cuban guy.
Yeah, give me whatever.
They were talking about him fighting Canelo before Alanga or something, like before they called. That was supposed to be his next fight and whatever, but they want that fight, and the reason why is they also want that IBF strap.
Yeah, so so check this out. So I'm cool with a lot of his camp, right? So this is what I was told. They want that belt for the rematch.
Allegedly.
Well, I guess I don't think allegedly.
We're media people, man, because we know the deal, Norbs.
Allegedly, right? They want that belt to try to force a rematch with Canelo, for he can unify again. So that's why they were going after Skull. That's what I was told from the insiders or whatnot. They want that Skull fight because they're trying to get that rematch because that bag, it is.
Canelo, Edgar told me in an interview. I have it on an interview that he wants that Canelo rematch.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, he felt like he did well enough, and he thinks that next time he will be better. He said it right in the end. I told him, "Give me your top 5," and he said, "What was it?" Because this was a while ago. It wasn't that long ago, but he said Canelo rematch. He said Charlo, Munguia. Damn, who was the other one? He said
I know
Skull.
Plant's one of them.
Skull. He mentioned Skull.
Yeah,
And the 5th one was Jake Paul.
bro, that kid is smart. He's a smart kid.
I'll never forget it because when he said it, we were dying. And you can see us laughing on the other. Yo,
Jake
you
Paul.
went there, bro. He started laughing. I started laughing on the interview.
Why wouldn't you fight Jake Paul? Are
That's
you
what I'm saying.
crazy? First of all, he'd knock Jake Paul out. Let's be real.
Of course, and he make a ton of he make a hell of a bag.
I would love to see El Gallo get knocked out.
Hey, Gallo de Dorado, you got to say it right. He's Puerto Rican now.
Jake Paul ain't doing that, man. Jake Paul.
Listen,
Jake
El
Paul.
Gallo. I couldn't believe when he walked out and they called him El Gallo. I said, who the hell
No,
approved this?
you're a ring announcer. You got to say this correct. El
Listen,
Gallo de
no.
Dorado.
Gallo de Dorado.
Yes.
I want to be like Nico Ali Wash and deny I'm not a ring announcing for you.
That's fine. One more question before I let you guys both go, right? Clarissa Shields fight this weekend, and you're at the fight, right? What's your take on, first of all, she's fighting Danielle Perkins, right, if I'm not mistaken? Mm-hmm. We all know she's going to win. Let's be honest, Clarissa Shields.
I think it's going to be quick. I
Think
don't think
so?
it's gonna be round one quick. Then she's an athlete. You know, she has a basketball background, and she was national champ at one point. I think she had a few national champions that she won. So I mean, she's got a little razzle dazzle to her as well. But compared to Clarissa. I don't think there's really a comparison. And, you know, the energy here, you know, how we were talking about the guys, Benavidez, you know, continue to talk crap and all of that. I want them to talk more crap. And I love that the women love each other, supporting each other and all this, but I feel like it's almost too much. Like, I need some.
Clarissa's mad disrespectful. I don't know how she's being so cordial with Danielle Perkins.
But you know what? Sometimes when you have someone like Clarissa, right, and then you have someone like Perkins, because like if you see, I just posted my interview with her. Her energy is so light. Her energy is just so, and it's like, can you really be dogging her like that? Because you're about to get a smile back. Like it's like almost
she has no problem. She has no problem dogging Amanda Serrano every time she gets like. I mean, Amanda looks like one of the sweetest people. She just took another shot at Amanda. What she said, she'll never fight me even if I was to go to 147. So, I mean, I don't know about Clarissa being...
but these two, they're in front of each other. The energy is being reciprocated. You know what I mean? It's not talking crap online. Like, they're actually in front of each other. And honestly, I mean, they have been doing some back and forth. And then will meet Clarissa there. Yeah, I don't want to say that allegedly, okay? But, you know, and so there's some entertainment and everything. But, yeah, Clarissa, she's going to go in there. She's going to get it done quickly. And... yeah.
Johnny's from the BX, so I know he's loyal to a certain rapper in the Bronx, so I'm not going to say her name. So, Johnny, what do you think about the fight?
I agree with Chevy. I mean, there's levels. I mean, what can you say? I like Perkins. She's undefeated, but she's kind of old too, right? She's in her 40s.
Dude, yeah.
She's in her 40s, man.
She's like 42. She looks like a power forward, I'm not going to lie.
Listen, I ain't holding.
She did play ball. That's where she comes from. She comes from a basketball background.
She looks like she grabs 20 rebounds a game, definitely.
I'm not saying she'll lose because she's older, but nah, she'll be outclassed, man. You know, Clarissa's on another level. But yeah.
And today in the media workouts, I mean, I know they don't give their all or anything. You know, they're not really trying to hit the mitts hard. But man, the pop on Clarissa's, wow.
She's at a heavier class now, so I think that her power is starting to. Remember, she's not really. She hasn't really got a power.
She took her jacket. I was like, damn. Okay.
Yeah, she's. I think the heavier weight is made her stronger. You know, a stronger puncher. So, yeah, I think she stops her. I think she stops her too.
Did she go down to 147 fight Bumgarner or no?
Nah, I don't think that happens.
So listen.
She said that.
When we get off of here, I'm gonna go upload my interview question with Clarissa, and that'll shine a little bit of light.
Okay, good. I want to see that because man, if she says that, that's one thing. That's a lot.
Well, I mean, she did say, you know, recently she said she was talking about Amanda. She took like another shot. I think Jake Paul has spoken about her. I've seen that. I mean,
she dropped a few names.
Who she dropped? Oh yeah, you can't give us a preview.
Nah, she needs the view, man. we gotta give her a view, man.
I gotta. You at least gotta do the ring announce one time for us today.
One time. All right, who am announcing? Who we got?
Johnny versus Johnny. Who you want to go against, Johnny?
Who you going against, Johnny?
Sugar Shane Mosley. Let's do that. Johnny.
All right, Sugar Shane Mosley.
Johnny, the hangout spot Johnny, what's your nickname
The
from the
hangout
Bronx?
spot. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now introducing your first fighter. Fighting out of the red corner, we have Johnny from the Bronx, from the hangout spot. Fighting out of the blue corner, he is the shit, and Johnny's gonna get his ass full. Sugar Shane Mosley.
I got Johnny all the way in that fight. Johnny, I'll be there for you if the guys
I
ever made
feel
that happen.
special. I feel special, man. That was dope.
Listen,
That
and
was
that's only little, but I'm in this hotel. I'm be yelling. They're gonna call the cops on me or something.
Man, you're in Detroit. The cops are everywhere over there. So.
No, I'm staying in Auburn Hills.
Oh, Auburn Hills is
somewhere.
nice. It's nice over there. It's not bad over there.
Yeah, no, it's not bad at all.
Yeah, because Flint, I heard Flint is a little choppy, right?
Yo, nah, Flint is
That's where the fight is,
Listen,
right? Flint?
bro. There's nothing in Flint. Like literally nothing in Flint. Like it's
like I told somebody earlier because they asked me where I was staying. I'm like, listen, I was raised in the hood. The hood don't bother me, but I ain't about to be hanging out over there.
hell no, Johnny.
Sure.
It's literally nothing in Flint. I've been to Flint about 6 times,
Yeah.
and it's nothing. I think Walmart's the hottest club they have over there, bro. Like it's crazy. Like it's pretty bad. Like it's.
Listen, but I bet you they're gonna show up on Sunday. It's gonna be a lot of people out in the city. They're gonna show up, have a great time, and I'm really looking forward to the fight.
Well,
and
shit.
the undercards. There's a few undercards that, I was seeing them work out today. They look good. Just like you were saying earlier,
Yeah.
Johnny, the Brandon Moore and the Skylar Lacey. I think that's gonna be interesting. That dude though, Skylar, I couldn't believe how big he was.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
But I know, Johnny,
definitely
you got to
enjoy
get
it.
out of here. I know you got to. Oh, I'm sorry, Johnny. What you said?
No, I was going to tell Chevy, enjoy. Get that work in. I'm going to be following you, checking you out. So, yeah, definitely represent.
For sure, I got you. I'll follow you back.
You got it. Yep, no, I got to take off. But
I'm gonna tune into your
guy.
Instagram live. I got you. Don't worry about
my guy, you know how we do it up, brother.
it. Yeah, and I got you on that other thing. Hit me when you're done. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. We'll hook up. Make sure y'all subscribe to the Hangout Spot on YouTube, man. That's how we do it up.
I got you. Appreciate you,
All
brother.
right.
Chev,
All right.
Chev,
Yeah.
you are the bomb. I appreciate you. Let them know where they can find you.
I had fun.
I need you on more often, man. I'm an ugly guy. We need some, some pretty females on here. That's dope. I love what you're doing. I honestly, first of all, let me just ask you this before you go. What the hell made you want to be a ring announcer?
Listen, it's crazy because I've always known I want to do something with my voice, right? Well, not always. Let me say this, because originally I'm a DJ. I'm known as DJ Chevy Red, right?
Okay.
Before boxing, anything, I'm DJ Chevy Red. And, part of DJing is being on the mic. But it took me almost 2 years to get the confidence to get on the mic, right? And speak and let people hear my voice. But once I did, now it was like, damn, Chevy, your voice is different. Your voice is unique, And so once I stepped into the boxing, doing the boxing media and everything, I was just like, yeah, no, I want to ring announce. I want to use my voice,
That's dope.
And this is an untapped market. I only know of one other female ring announcer. She's actually from here in Detroit, but she's really big in the amateur scene. And me, I'm not trying to stay there. I did 3 amateur fights, and then I have my pro debut. Like I'm ready. I want to go.
It's so dope that I've never actually heard somebody want to be a ring announcer. And I was like, man, doesn't like Michael Buffer get paid like $1.5 million every time he does the Let's Get Ready to Rumble or whatever? So that's kind of crazy.
Right.
That's actually a question for you in the chat. It said that Shields take care of a childhood trainer from the movie. I didn't see the movie, so I couldn't tell you.
Well, they asked her, did she what?
Did she take care of her childhood trainer from the movie?
Oh, meaning in like real life?
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know.
Dude, I still haven't watched the movie. I want to watch it. I have not.
Watch them. The movie was great. It
Really?
honestly was very, very good.
I didn't watch. Clarissa's hit me a couple times on the inbox, stuff like that. But I definitely got to get an interview from her.
You
She's
a
really
man,
cool.
Lord. Is everybody coming to you?
Oh, stop it!
Listen, you
Listen,
a man.
you popping over here. Everybody's hitting me up like, who's the girl? I'm like, oh God. So
Listen, make sure you guys follow me on my Instagram at Chevy Red. It's Chevy with an I. Gotta make sure you tell them that, cause You know, they look at the car, and that's not me.
No, I got you. I'm gonna chop up this episode as well, and I'm gonna definitely you know, invite you. Or what do you make you a?
You send me the clips where I look good and being nice, okay? Don't give no controversial shit, Lord.
Oh my! I just like good content, man. You know what I mean? That's all I like to do. We definitely got to do this again. I want to. You got to update me on what happens at the Clarissa fight because I probably won't be tuned in 100% that day. I got things to do.
Gotcha.
But you know, I definitely would love to have you on as much as possible. Johnny's my guy; he comes on all the time. But you know, we got to support each
Like
other.
Johnny, I love his energy too.
Yeah, Johnny's hilarious. He's really good. But yeah, man, I know you're busy, so you know, I'll let you do your thing. Enjoy.
Let me know, and if I can pop on, I'll come on. I got you. I
appreciate you, and you know,
course.
don't go to the casinos tonight in Detroit. No, don't spend no money.
Listen, I'm not. So I drove here, right? And so when I was getting my luggage out the back, I was like, oh, I left a bottle of wine in the car.
That just happened to be there. That just happened to be there. I don't believe that, Chev.
Listen, I promise you. And you know what it was? I went to my best friend's house, and she gave me 2 bottles of wine. I took one in the house, but the other one, I don't know why, I just left it in the car. And surprise!
It's always like when you go do laundry, you find that $20 in your. Those are the best surprises.
I find whole bottles of wine.
Yeah,
Like, what?
that's how you do it. But we definitely got to. Yo, listen, I might do something live tomorrow. Just have callers call up. We have about 200 some people, 230 right now in here, so that's a good look.
230 people where? On the live?
Yeah, on Twitter.
Oh shit! You just made me an overnight celebrity. Come on, Lord, I'm coming on tomorrow too.
Listen, whenever. It's weird because I'm transitioning my YouTube channel to the boxing thing, so it's taking a little longer. But on Twitter, I be getting hundreds of people coming on, so that's dope.
That's great.
Yeah, so,
That's great.
No, we definitely got to connect, girl. Let's definitely do it.
Go.
I'm here, and you know, I'll let you enjoy your take a night. What time is it? It's 9:30.
9:30.
I know you're probably gonna relax, unwind, get the bottle, you know, do your
Chill a little bit, go to sleep because I gotta be up early tomorrow because I have to do my hair. I see that the hat on today. The curls are
It looks
not
good though.
popping
It
today.
looks good though.
I
It looks
gotta do
good,
it
man.
tomorrow.
Most females can't pull off a hat. It looks good on you.
Listen, and shout out to Wise Out Boxing because this is the brand.
That's a dope hat.
Are you familiar with Wise Out?
No, but you could plug me in. Let me know.
I gotta plug you. Definitely need to be plugged with them.
All right. So, if you want to go on tomorrow, I'm supposed to interview Ricardo tomorrow at 11. If you're up, you're more than welcome to join me.
Listen, let me know. Just remind me. You didn't remind me today. I remember, which is crazy because I don't remember nothing.
That means a lot to me. That I was that important for you to remember. So, listen. So I hit you like a 9 in the morning.
This much. It was this much. That much importance. This much. Don't get too happy. No, it's okay.
Dang, it's like that. I thought I was. You know what? Now I'm hurt. Now I'm heartbroken.
What?
I'm heartbroken. That's what you get for that. But I'll let you go. I'm gonna end it on that. Chevy Red.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, girl. I appreciate you. On that note, I'm gonna let y'all rock out. You can stay on. Don't worry about it, because I'm gonna just play the outro and then kill the stream.